Dame Nicola Stevenson, North East National Executive Member, and Barbara Middleton, MBE, North Tyneside Branch Vice President, who will introduce NAHT's current Vice President. Don't start speaking until I tell you. Who will introduce NAHT's current Vice President, who will be taking over the presidency from me in September. This is the wonderful Angie Gibson sitting next to me. Now, because of the way that things have gone so far, we are waiting for Angie's special guests. And I don't want to start until they've arrived, so we're just going to pause. And I think we might have a round of applause when they come in. That really embarrass you, Mum? Mm-hmm. Bear with us. Yeah. Yes. They come in.
Yeah, do it.
Thank you. And we're in the hands of Dame Nicola. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, conference, or as we would say in Newcastle, you all right? Bonnie conference? I have the true honour of introducing our incoming president, the phenomenal, successful head teacher and friend, Angie Gibson. For transparency, I must confess that neither NAHT national officers or Angie herself have heard or read this introductory speech. This is a demonstration of Angie's bravery, and I'm sure the top table on stage may now feel a little unnerved that I choose to mention this. Yesterday, Magnus, who's not in the room, informed me, as a little quip, it doesn't matter what you say in the speech, as long as you keep to time. When you give a Geordie lass free rein, who knows what she will say? I'm going to give a flavour of Angie's career path. She's had so many roles, there simply isn't time to cover them all. Angie did not follow a traditional path into school leadership. Most of us in this conference hall may at times feel like we've never actually left school, going from our primary schools to secondary school, off to university, then back into school as a teacher, perhaps with weekends and holiday jobs along the way. Angie had a 12-year career in engineering before switching to education. She entered a male-dominated sector and over those 12 years shattered glass ceilings. In the engineering drawing office, she was the only woman to last 6 months. This is an insight into her character. She's determined and has inner strength. Angie had many leadership roles during her time as an engineer, but the one I would have loved observing her in was Customer Services Liaison Manager. This just makes me smile. Angie Gibson takes no nonsense. She shoots from the hip. And while she has patience and love for children, her tolerance of adults who should know better is not high. I say this as a friend, as we are both the same. Angie leading in customer services tickles my funny bone. However, she must have done a brilliant job, as promotions followed, leading to leadership roles in teams where women were normally there for admin purposes. Despite the security of this highly paid role, Angie decided to pursue her desire to become a teacher with a keen interest in sport. She secured a graduate teacher programme and used her grit and drive to complete the intensive year learning on the job. It came as no surprise to learn that during her student year, she led PE in the school. During this time, Angie also spent the factory shutdown fortnight volunteering in her local school. Her mum, who's now in the room, had installed in her the belief that you need to put something back into the community that you grew up in. Her mum is a huge influence in her life, and she quotes her a lot. During her time at New York Primary School, Angie was fast-tracked to deputy head, then seconded into many school improvement roles. I'm going to highlight her role as obesity coordinator in North Tyneside. Her caring, logical and direct approach resulted in the area being the only local authority to exceed their goals. Some national executive members received a flavour of this earlier role yesterday while she was directing us to a meeting room. She was adamant the room was on the upper level, so we followed her up to the top of the stairs, where she led us into the mechanical equipment room. After much groaning and comments about her sense of direction, Angie replied, "Shut up, we're all here to be fitter. If you don't like it, there's the door." Perhaps an option in her retirement might be running obesity camps, Angie. As the head teacher at Hadrian Park Primary School, Angie uses her inspiration, challenge and care. She believes we should never lower our standards. Children are children no matter their postcode. They all deserve quality first teaching, high expectations and love. And this is what's made her school exceptional. Angie joined the NHT because she believes in principled leadership and collaboration. She wanted to be part of something bigger. When I joined the National Executive, Angie took me under her wing and taught me some life lessons. I believe people come into your life for a reason, and I feel blessed that Angie entered mine. I've seen her tackle professional challenges with a stillness that is pure strength. When the day ends and I meet up with Angie as a friend, it generally involves a libation. When we relax and the Angie reserved for friends and family appears, I can best describe downtime Angie as a wonderful mix of Cheryl Cole and her style sense with a sprinkling of Jimmy Neal as Oz in A Vida Dame Pet. I offer an example of her humour that emerged during a private chat amongst friends last night. So private, I will only share it here with you in the room and all of you online. During some gentle ribbing, Angie delivered the classic line, reserved for out-of-school situations. Now, what I need you to do is, in your head, finish the sentence, bearing in mind 12 years working in engineering. Angie's line. "Hey, lad, you're talking." She just makes me laugh. Angie is an authentic gem. She has an inner strength few people possess. If my back was against the wall, personally or professionally, I know with certainty Angie would stand by my side with calmness and strength. And that, as our incoming president, is the gift she brings to us all. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I can't tell you how proud I am of her. So she's my good friend. She's been in my life a really long time. And it's fantastic to have a Geordie from the real north. I don't mean Manchester, no offence to Manchester, but a DFE member once said to me, "Do you get off at Edinburgh to go to Newcastle?" And sometimes it feels like a lot of policy decisions are made in the south and they don't really get our context. and we've got generational unemployment due to the shipyards closing and the pits closing. I'm going to ask Helen Clegg to be ready to join in with this bit because she said I had to do it. So if I say, turn, there you go, okay, so brilliant. Obviously not that many Geordies in here today. Right, well, I first... do it again, might do it at the end. Right, so I first met Angie on opposite ends of a football pitch, actually. It was a year 4-5 football match. And I really got a flavour of her then when she was saying, get up, you've got 2 legs, come on. And she was really loud, and, you know, I was struck by just her passion. She was just there in the moment, and she wanted those children to have a brilliant time, and she wanted them to do really well. And that is Angie. She's all in. Whatever you're doing, it's all about the fun and the passion and the children. So soon after that, coincidentally, we were both named as classroom practitioners to trial some Carol Dweck mindset work in our classrooms. And that was when I got to see a different side of Angie. And we did a bit of research, and then we went to a conference together and shared a room. It was fantastic. And we'd done a bit about incremental learning. And I really started to understand that she's an absolutely outstanding classroom practitioner. And she would say to you now that that's the bread and butter. Being in the classroom is the bread and butter. And she would still get in a classroom and just teach her socks off. And the energy she brings to a classroom, her pedagogy is fantastic. And she's always looking for the next thing. Often when I meet her, she'll say, oh, we're trialing this at the minute. We're getting on with this. And I just think that's just so important that the people who are leading us understand classroom practice. So the spirit of constant learning and forward thinking, it's never left her. And that, amongst other qualities, I think why she's going to be a really brilliant leader for us. Our leadership isn't shaped just by her professional experience, but by her humanity. And she comes from a large, warm, welcoming family. And I'm going to say Nana Gibson is here. And everybody I know calls her Nana Gibson. I don't know anybody that doesn't call her Nana Gibson. And do you know what? She's taught Angie about the open door policy to family. I don't think I even know who lives with you, Nana, because anytime you come, there's people in and out. And you never leave the house without being fed and watered and looked after and treated like family. And Angie has exactly the same open door policy. You can go around there in the afternoon and she'll say what you're having for tea, and if you say you don't know, she'll say, well, I'll cook you something, I'll put some salmon on, or we'll do this, we'll do that. And my favourite thing about being with Angie and sitting around the dinner table or doing any of those things is a laugh. She laughs more than anyone I know, and her laugh is a genuine, deep belly laugh. And as soon as I got here today, she said, can I borrow your comb because I've forgotten my hairbrush? She's actually done that hair without a hairbrush, by the way, although she did use my comb before. And then she made some crack about my glasses, which I'll leave for later in case she does it. But she's just really good fun to be around. And she's the kind of person that doesn't always put herself first. She loves a shopping trip. And she comes back with bag loads of things, but often the bag loads aren't just about her, they're often about her children as well and other people. And if you're lucky enough to go shopping with Angie, she'll say, you buy the bottom of that and I'll buy the top of it, and then we'll mix and match it. And we do often have to coordinate. She's a proud single mum to 2 beautiful children, and Ellie May is here today, and she's stunning. And do you know what, Ellie May, she's so proud of you, and Ellie May is a grafter like her mum. And Ellie May, she'll embarrass now, but she's a softie as well. But Ellie May held down 3 jobs before she started at university, and she's fantastic. And Tom has the face of an angel, but Tom has never, ever enjoyed school. He's not into the academic side of things. He'll tell you he likes going to school because he loves playing with his friends, and he likes to do, sporty things and sociable things. So she comes to leadership of a school knowing that children are different and that they have diverse interests, and that actually she just wants them to succeed, no matter what that means for them. And I think that's really fantastic. We've worked together and we've both done school improvement, and we had a brilliant day together up in Northumberland, where our task was to literally make the building safe and inviting for children. And you know what? She doesn't shy away from tough situations, but she meets them head on with compassion and with clarity. And her passion, especially for disadvantaged children, runs through everything she does. We both grew up in council houses, and you know what? We had families who wanted us to be the best we could be. And actually, that drives everything that she does for children. She wants them to have the same belief in them. And she's never lost touch with where she came from. And we have something called the Miners' Picnic every year, the Shiremoor Treat. And Angie sits on the committee. And on that day, it's a fantastic day for the children from all the local schools. They march behind the band and the banner, and we get to the treat field, and she's at the centre of the treat field. and she's leading all the sporting activities and all the events, and she's really generous with her time in terms of the things that she does. She's also someone who just gets on with things. She's not fazed by anything. A number of years ago, we had a fantastic conference in Brighton. It was quite a while ago. Can I vote for that one again? Because it was really brilliant. But when we were there, Angie had a bag stolen from the hotel, and it had her car keys in that were driven down in. And you know what? She wasn't fazed, she just got on with it. We had a joke about the man who came out to break into the car. And we got to the conference, and I know that Paul has said about good behaviour tonight. I think the conference ended with us doing wheelbarrow races up and down the conference, and it was great fun. Nothing phases her, she keeps going, and she keeps going with a smile. She's a head who leads from the front, and she takes her staff with her. I think sometimes head teachers sometimes guard that position jealously, but actually she always has her deputies and assistant heads with her. She doesn't just talk about leadership pipelines, she builds them. She loves being outside. We used to spend hours on the beach, not just with Angie's own children when they were younger, but actually with any children that wanted to join us, just pile them all in, take them down, because she loves seeing children playing and having fresh air and have fun. She's passionate about outdoor education. She's sporty and fiercely competitive, and she can often be found working out. I think Dion's somewhere down there working out. But let's be honest, it's mainly to offset the champagne and the fine food. And she loves the food, and actually she's one of the few people that I will order tapas with, because she orders plenty and she orders extra. She's boundless energy, and she's the last one standing at any social event, which I'm sure you will see over the next couple of nights. But on a more serious note, she understands that those things are important for our mental health. She's really passionate about the mental health and well-being of everybody in this profession. Even the other week, 2 weeks ago, we had dinner together, and she was saying to us, I'm really worried about head teachers when they retire, and the impact and the toll that this job takes on them. And I know that that's something that she's going to really strive to improve, working conditions for all of us. She's not going to shy away from that. And most importantly, she leads with a full heart. She's driven, she's visionary, and she's unafraid. But also she's kind, funny, and entirely herself. And I know that as president, she will speak up for us, she'll fight for us, and she'll remind us that the work we do matters, and she'll stand with us and will not be alone. But I want to finish by saying that our biggest strength is what you see is what you get, and what she says is what she means. And she's completely and utterly authentic in every way. So please join me in welcoming your new president, my colleague, my friend, and an extraordinary leader, Angie Gibson.
Wow, I had to think about who they were talking about there. But I hope Nicola wasn't referring that I look like Jimmy Neal and sound like Cheryl. Come on. So, good afternoon, friends, colleagues, and fellow change makers. It is with enormous pride and not just a little emotion that I stand before you as the incoming president of NAHT. To lead such a powerful collective of dedicated professionals, people who work tirelessly to shape lives, open doors, and drive changes, is one of the greatest honours of my life. Like many of you, my path into education wasn't traditional. I didn't grow up dreaming of being a teacher. I started in engineering, but I left a secure career and took a huge pay cut to step into the world of education because I realised something was missing. I needed to do something that truly mattered. That decision to walk into a classroom and never look back wasn't just about a career change. It was about living with purpose. But to understand what brought me here today, you have to know where I came from. I'm from a proud working class family, raised in an area of significant deprivation, but also one of enormous strength. While we didn't have much in material terms, we were rich in love, resilience, and values. My mum was and continues to be. You need to get out. My biggest inspiration. She's the kind of woman who would hold down 4 jobs if it meant giving her children what they needed, and she did. Tirelessly, quietly, and without complaint, because her children always came first. She's the most selfless person I know. She has a huge heart and a spirit that lifts others. And if you've ever seen her around children, you'll know that's when she comes alive. She's at her best when surrounded by little ones, when she's given of herself to help them grow, laugh, and feel seen. But she didn't sugarcoat anything, ever. She was brutally honest, grounded in truth, and she taught me early that if you want something, you work for it. No shortcuts, no excuses, just heart, grit, and graft. From my siblings, I learned that the more effort you put in, the better the outcome. It's a lesson that's carried me through every step of my career and one I now pass on to my own children. Because today, as a mother to Tom and Ellie, I know exactly what I want for them. I want them to have the kind of education that opens every door. One that fuels their passions, sharpens their confidence, and allows them to dream big and bold. And if I want that for my children, I have to want it, and I have to fight for it for every child. We have one chance, one future. Every child gets one shot at education, just one. Every single day in school is a step along that path. That's why everything we do must be built around helping them thrive. Not just academically, but emotionally, socially, and spiritually. We have to help children see beyond their circumstances, beyond their postcode, beyond the limits that society may place on them. And we must make sure every family knows that their child's future does not have to be defined by their past. The strength of our schools lies not in spreadsheets or policies, but in people, in our hearts, in our values, and in leaders who care enough to lead with love and courage. As a head teacher, a union member, and the youngest of 4, I've learned that leadership isn't about standing above others. It's about standing with them. It's about seeing the strengths in your team and bringing those to life. It's about creating a culture where people feel seen, heard, and valued. Even on the hardest days, when we're firefighters, counsellors, cheerleaders, crisis managers, we show up. Because our children need us too, and because we believe that education changes everything. Let's not pretend everything's fine across the UK. Education is under pressure like never before. We face a recruitment and retention crisis. Budgets are stretched to breaking point. The accountability system is broken, and mental health needs are escalating. And too many of our school buildings are quite simply not fit for purpose. But despite this, you show up, you lead, you love, and you give. And that's why this presidency won't be about nice words or photo opportunities. It will be about action. Because our profession deserves better, our staff deserve better, and our children, all of our children, deserve the very best. At NAHT, we're driving forward 6 urgent priorities. Inspection and accountability, building a culture of growth, not fear. Pay and funding, valuing the people who shape our future. Recruitment and retention, creating environments people want to stay in. School buildings and estates, they have to be safe, modern, and inspiring learning spaces. Send proper support for every child who needs it. Workload and well-being, ensuring our educators can thrive, not just survive. These aren't wish lists. These are non-negotiables because the future of education depends on them. We've equipped our members with campaign tools, resources, and real strategies. This is a movement, and the power of the movement lies in you. I am who I am because of my mum, because of my family, because of every pupil I've ever taught and every colleague I've ever stood beside. This role isn't just a title to me, it's a responsibility to lead with heart, to lead with fire, and to make sure no child anywhere in this country is left behind. Because every child matters and every single day matters. So let's do this together with courage, with compassion, and with unshakable hope. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Angie. Take a deep breath, it's done. Yeah, thank you. It's been a pleasure working with you. I'm National Executive for 8 years, it's been already, and through your time so far as Vice President. And I think we're a brilliant team. So, and we're going to continue to be a brilliant team, and it is a genuine pleasure to work with you. So thank you. Let's have another round of applause. So, as you will know, every year the incoming president selects a charity which NAHT will fundraise for. So I'm now going to invite Angie's charity of choice, Family Gateway, to introduce themselves, hopefully. Yes, sorry, thank you.
This was a lot of people and I'm not used to it, so I might be a little bit nervous. Good afternoon, my name is Amy and I am Business Development Manager at Family Gateway. I just want to start by thanking Angie and the rest of the association for allowing us to be Charity of the Year. I know that a lot of you here don't know who we are and what we do, so I am going to talk a little bit about that, and we will be around for the rest of the weekend as well if you wanted to catch any of us. Before I carry on, I just want to introduce my colleagues who are here with us today. We have our Chief Exec, Judy Marriott, and our Media and Communications Coordinator, Dan, as well. So we are here over the weekend, so please feel free to grab us. So, a little bit about who we are. So Family Gateway's been around since 2011, and we're based primarily in the North East, in North Tyneside to be exact, but we do work across the region, and we are expanding our work across the UK. Overall, our mission is to support life chances and empower families to make the changes they need to improve life chances for children. We were originally set up in South Tyneside, and our founder, John, is still on our board and worked as a director of housing, and he noticed that many of the residents that he was going out to see were coming up against some of the same challenges in their community, but he knew that those people weren't that keen on new people coming in to support them. Many of them were still fearful of statutory services, worried about the stigma attached to them being involved and the potential consequences that this had on them and their family. Many thought that social services getting involved meant they would have their children immediately removed, and they didn't understand the process behind it all. So John found a story that inspired him, and it is what we now call our barefoot professional model. The story originates in a small village in India where there was a high mortality rate of babies. The government decided what they would do is they would send in some highly trained midwives to go in and support the community. But the community didn't want those people to come in. They were scared, they were fearful, they didn't want new people to come into their community. So instead what they proposed is taking some of their community and training them up to become midwives, and that's exactly what they did. So John did exactly that in the area in which he worked. He looked for the people in the community that other people were listening to. Some may call them troublemakers, the ones that the other community members seemed to listen to, and he employed them. They were the ones that were supporting the people around them to overcome challenges because they knew what the solutions were themselves. And that was the start of Family Gateway. Some of the original recruits are even still with us. Colette has been with us for 11 years, and she was one of those troublemakers, and she's now our senior family entrepreneur and leads in our looked after care service. The barefoot professional model relies on us understanding that it's local people that have solutions to their own problems. It's about doing with rather than doing to. We use a coaching approach to empower individuals, and it's something that we still pride ourselves on to this day, and something that makes us truly unique. All of our staff team are barefoot professionals, qualified by lived experience. They have an understanding of some of the challenges that our communities may face because they themselves have been through that. They are fantastic role models and proof that you can achieve a job that is exciting and rewarding even when you've taken an unusual path to get there. A barefoot professional is someone who uses their invaluable lived experience to demonstrate to their community that it's possible to thrive in life, not despite their experiences, but because of them. Sorry, technical issue, there you go. In 2017, we took over management of the building formerly known as Howden Community Centre and rebranded it to Howden Community Hub. Today, the hub is a home with deep roots in our local community and allows us to have an impact in many different ways for residents from all walks of life. From the hub, we offer a range of services and activities for all ages, facilitated not only by our staff, but by local businesses and organisations too. We have How Delicious, our cafe, which provides affordable drinks and food to the local community and also does the best cheese scones that I've ever had. We have our multi-use games area, which we have significantly invested in along with the school next door to us, which facilitates a range of sports sessions for the local community to get involved in. We've got our outdoor garden area with the polytunnels so that people can go out there and do some gardening. We've got a community gym, and we've also got a fully equipped sensory room for those with SEND issues or any mental health issues as well. Our hub provides us with a home, but the work that we do sees us working all the way across the region. Our family services team are our staff members that are out in the local community supporting those who are hardest to engage and may have the most complex needs. They provide holistic family support as we understand we can't resolve one person's issue if actually that issue is generational. We need to work with the whole family to create long-lasting change that can permeate through the generations. We work across the health and education system, the looked after care system, with children in need, with those affected by poverty and by those affected by the criminal justice system. Last year, we really thought about what a family was, and we tried to get away from the idea that it's only your parents and your children. What we realised is actually family could be the people that you meet up with at the community centre and have a couple with every week. It could be your next door neighbour who helps you out with looking after your kids, or it could be going into a group and having them as well. Supporting families and individuals to address a variety of challenges in their lives was the core for Family Gateway when we were established in 2011 and continues to be an invaluable avenue for impact in the community today. Our family entrepreneurs, community entrepreneurs, health and wellbeing coaches and young persons entrepreneurs all work in a uniquely hands-on manner, tailoring their approach to fit perfectly to each case. The Barefoot Professional model means that our staff are able to understand some of what the service users are facing because they've been there themselves, whether that's money worries, house in trouble, debt, or challenging behaviours in the family. The support we offer is completely bespoke to each family. Our family entrepreneurs are flexible and adaptable, ready to create wraparound services as unique as the people they're supporting. From advocating for families in court to reconnecting people to nature through gardening, we believe that our skill is helping people find what they need and providing it to them. So that's a bit about us in general, but obviously I think it's important here to talk about how we work alongside schools and the impact we have together in the local community. Since we were established, we've supported schools in local areas, providing family entrepreneurs to support families around attendance, achievement and behaviour. But over the last couple of years, we've really expanded our offer and focused on what schools need. We've been working alongside Denby Primary School and the head teacher Louise for many years now after we realised that we shared the same vision for children around us. Working together, we have created a model linking us as a charity organisation to Centurion NAHT. We knew that if we were able to create a strong, trusting and meaningful relationship, we would be able to provide the best opportunities, not only for the children, but for the families too. We soon realised that the families who may not be comfortable asking for help in school would ask us for help because they knew us well, they saw us doing our shopping or dropping their kids off at school. Once they started to trust us and work with us, we were able to build a relationship with the school to allow the families to receive the wide variety of support the education system can offer. We then started working in some local secondary schools, providing in-class support for teachers so that we could help those individuals that were maybe struggling with their mental health or regulating their emotions. We work in a school for young people with SEND or behavioural issues and mainstream high schools in the local area. Our staff are there to bridge the gap between school and community services, building the relationships that make the young people feel more confident in accessing services that may take place at the hub. And on a more strategic level, all three of us have recently become school governors as well. The staff deliver one-to-one and small group support in school to talk about things such as mental health, understanding emotions, what's going on at home and managing conflict. Many of the young people we have worked with in school now attend groups at our hub, including our Dungeons and Dragons group and our Fossil and Geology group. And we can see them going out of their comfort zone and trying something new that they would never have tried before. All of the work we do is to truly embed the Barefoot Professional model in the local communities. We want there to be a team of barefooters from all backgrounds. We deliver our barefoot training in schools to provide young people who may not be engaged with education or may not know what to do next some opportunities, showing them that they can achieve whatever they want to achieve. We also deliver the training to parents, carers and other people from the local area. We want to show them there are other options and opportunities for them and they can achieve anything they want to. We don't want to mould them into what we think is the right person, but we want them to develop their own goals, dreams and aspirations. Our training has gone beyond our local area and we're also working alongside other charities in Manchester and Scotland to trial our model there. We want to train the local people to support their community as we know that we can't just move our staff and deliver the same service. What works in Newcastle won't work in Manchester and what works in Manchester won't work in Norwich. Again, I want to say thank you for allowing us to be here. As a relatively small charity in the North East, it really is an honour to be here as Charity Partner of the Year. I know that what we do may seem small in comparison to some of the other charities that you've previously supported, but we don't aim small. We have big goals that we want to achieve. We want to create strong, healthy and resilient communities beyond just North Tyneside. We want to create real, long-lasting change to support those individuals and families who may be facing the most complex challenges in order to provide the best outcomes for them and their children. I hope that from listening to me talk a little bit about our organisation today, you can see that the work we do has a real, meaningful and powerful impact on those around us. Lastly, I just wanted to end with a little bit about myself to demonstrate how our model really works. As you can tell by the accent, I'm not from up north. I was born and raised in East London until I was 11 and I moved to Newcastle. I went from doing childcare at college to studying psychology at university, but I began to suffer from PTSD after losing my dad. I didn't leave the house for 3 months at one point. I then began to go back to uni and I went on placement with a mental health charity where I stayed for 6 years. After that, I found Family Gateway and I started working as a family entrepreneur around 6 years ago. I now have goals to become a CEO in the near future, and our current chief exec, Julie, has not been threatened by that since she started 4 years ago, but instead she has embraced that. She's given me opportunities to develop so that I am ready for my next steps and has watched me progress through the organisation. This is what we do for all of our staff. We provide them with opportunities, such as this one, to grow and develop until it is their time to fly. We always welcome guests to visit us, so if you are in the local area, please feel free to come in and we'll treat you to a cuppa and one of those delicious scones. If you do want to find out more about us, please just catch one of us this weekend, and thank you again for having us.
Thank you. So next, I would like to introduce our platinum sponsor, which is Wesleyan Financial Services. I'd like to thank them before they come on stage for their generous support for this conference and for my chosen charity this year, which is Buttle UK. We've raised over £10,000 throughout the course of this year for Buttle UK, so thank you everybody for that. That is helping to support families in crisis. A significant proportion of this was donated by the Wesleyan Foundation. And I understand that Wesleyan are also hoping to support Family Gateway in the coming year, which is fantastic news. And so many, many thanks to them. So conference, I invite Steve Renfrew from Wesleyan Financial Services, our platinum sponsor, to say a few words to us now. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. As you can see, my name's Steve Renfrew. I'm from Wesleyan Financial Services, and it is a real honour to be here today in the presence of Angie's mum. You're a legend, madam. Thank you for having me. I live in Manchester, and I have 2 children, and obviously I know lots of kids. I was a kid myself. As an outsider, I just want to say thank you. I thought, Angie, when you spoke about your purpose, it was really meaningful, and what you're doing really matters. It really does. So thank you. I'm from Manchester, Barbara, wherever you are. I'm from Manchester. So today I came on the train, and as I came on the train, I was pestered by those people who try and give you free stuff, cans and things. And it was quite a warm day, and I was busy. I was going to a conference, so I decided not to take up the offer. It turned out these were freezing cold cans of water, and on the train that was really hot, everybody seemed to have one except me. So that wasn't good news, really. Today I'm going to give you some free cans of water. I would like you to take them. I'm here bearing gifts as a well-meaning person. And at the end, I'm going to put a code up, and you can click on that and take some free stuff from me. Don't be like Steve, take the water. Okay, just thought, obviously we're sponsors, so I thought we'd just say a little bit about us. Hopefully you know us. We are focused on education, as you know. We are a mutual, which may mean something to you or may not, but what that means is that we exist for the benefit of our members, a bit like NAHT, really. And so what we do, instead of paying out dividends to shareholders, that kind of thing, is we reinvest to make it better for our members. And what that means, for example, is that we pay some money towards people who take out insurance with us, that kind of thing. And we give discounts to people who are associated with us. So come and join us, we're great. We've been around for 184 years doing this stuff, so we're fairly stable, we're award-winning, all that jazz. One of the things, though, about us that I think you might be interested in is we're fully focused in key segments. So we are focused in segments of people who serve others. So we're involved with GPs, hospital doctors, dentists, and teachers. We used to call it teachers. We know it's wider than that, so we call it education now. And so we serve you as a group and all your friends and families and communities with very skilled financial advisors who are fully focused on nutty issues like the teachers' pension scheme. So our partnership is natural then, isn't it? We are in your segment, we're working with you. We've been working with you now for about 12 months. You've heard about some of the work we've done around the foundation. We work at conferences, exhibitions. We're here today, aren't we? And we've got a stand downstairs. We're on stand 23, you can't miss us. As part of that, we are developing what we're thinking about. So we're working out how you operate, or the way you organise yourselves, the kind of meetings you have, and we're trying to meet you where you are. And so we're developing things to help you. So, for example, we discovered that your life members are an important part of the group. So we're developing material for people who have passed retirement, perhaps, who've got different issues than those who are approaching retirement. And we're going to be bringing that to you during the course of the year. We've noticed too that lots of primary and secondary head teachers have been getting tax letters. So we're beginning to help with that kind of thing. So we're just trying to meet you where you are. Here comes the gifts. Here's the three things I want to talk to you about. Okay. So the first thing is the foundation. The second is well-being support for your employees. And the third is personal financial planning appointments for yourselves and your families. Let's start with the foundation. You've heard a little bit about some of the giving we do. We've given away over £2 million. Our foundation exists, one of its primary purposes, to help education. It sits perfectly in this room. And we give away to various aspects. I won't have to tell you about books and breakfast clubs and things that matter to you, but this is where we spend our £2 million, and we continue to give to good causes. And I'd ask you to think about, what's important to you. Obviously, we wouldn't mess at all with the president, but it's a universal foundation, so it's available to any of you in the room. If you've got a good cause near you, come and approach us. We will show you the barcode at the end. You can have a go if you fancy. And of course, Family Gateway and all that jazz was all part of that. Let's talk next about financial well-being. Have we gone too far? No. So financial well-being. We know that you've got your scorecards, all that kind of stuff that's important. Your employees, obviously, their well-being is anchored in their financial well-being, and we can support you. We can work with your tech teams to give links on websites. We can work with you to make sure that your employees get access to the resources they need to help them. Obviously, we spend a lot of time and work and effort working with people who are approaching retirement, but we also do more than that, and we help people with mortgages and insurances and all sorts of other things. And we can help also with general education. So we've got gallons of resources. We can help you if you want us to. Just reach out. It's a free can of water. Take it. And then the last thing that we really specialise in is our personal financial planning appointments. Financial planning is an interesting frame. It's a bit like being an auditor or a general manager. I kind of know what it means, but do people really know what it means? Financial planning has got two parts, hasn't it? It's finances, so it's your finances, and it's a plan. So just like you've got a plan for your school or your trust or whatever, you can have a plan for yourself and your family, and we can help build that for you. Instead of me saying more about that, because I'm quite dull, we've got a nice super video for you, which I don't know if I have to press the button or somebody can help me, please.
Pop up. No matter what your age, don't leave the path you travel to chance. Plot out your desired outcome and the Wesleyan Cashflow Modeler tool will show you the best way to achieve it, putting your future firmly back in your hands. Wherever you are on life's journey, Wesleyan will be with you every step of the way.
Thank you. Sorry about the sound there, but hopefully you could see the pictures and you could see how that might work. We sit down with you as an individual, we work out, because everybody's different. Most people have got a partner of some sort, maybe they're not in education. So we try and help you both, help the family, help all of you by working through a cool plan in the way that you would in your ordinary working life, looking at your school or your trust as you would think about what's coming in, what's going out, what's happening when, and build a plan. What we discovered when we talked to teachers who go through the process is that the earlier the start, the better. It really is a thing where time is on your side if you can use it. It's like any plan, more time is good. Paul, who some of you know, sent us this lovely quote about his experience with us. And if you look at it, the key reference point is starting early. Starting early. That will give you more options when you get to a point where you're thinking about what to do next. Maybe you take on a portfolio career, you slow down, that kind of thing, or whether you fully retire. But the main thing is if you give us enough time, we can help you plan and you can make the choice yourself. So come and join us. If you're worried if we're any good, I put our Trustpilot notes up there. Most people, there's 3,000 people who've been through our process, and that's our rating, wherever it is. Is it that one? Yeah, 4.9. One or two didn't quite get going. There's a few in that 1 star, but in the main, 3,000 people are pretty happy what we're doing. And I do hope, thanks Jackie for your quote as well, but I do hope that you can get confidence that we know what we're doing, basically. So here's my 3 cans of water. Obviously, we've got 3 things that are opportunities for you to work with us. Firstly, on the foundation, if you've got a good cause, come forward. You can click the barcode, put your details in and contact us and we'll get somebody to reach out for you. Secondly, if you want us to help you with your staff and your teams, then click the barcode and we can organise something to help you. And then finally, if you'd like, you or your family or any of your teams would like some support, then you can have the cash flow modelling type version of what financial planning is. Hopefully that's helpful in helping you understand that. So thanks very much for having me. I'm off now to the train station to have some pineapple chewing gum and guava tango. That's the latest version of the truth. So thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank you. So, as you may have noticed, the timetable has gone slightly awry. So what I'm going to do now is announce the result of the earlier card vote and then give you a couple of little notices and then we will move to the break. So the result of the card vote: votes in favour 12,828, votes against 13,997. Thank you for your participation in that debate. So, we are just coming now to the end of only the first session of conference, believe it or not. So, if I could ask you in a minute to make your way to Studio 2 for exhibition viewing and refreshments. There hopefully will still be a short session in the NAHT Theatre with Assistant General Secretary James Bowen, which is on fixing the workload crisis, which he's assured us he can do in 10 minutes. So please get along to that. And we will return here at 4:59. Thank you. Welcome back, colleagues. If I could ask you to take your seats, please. Thank you.
It all started in our branch meetings in Sunderland. Several of my colleagues were coming to meetings and after a cup of tea and a biscuit were complaining about the increase of abuse from a small minority of parents. Verbal abuse on the yard, on the phone, aggressive, threatening, the WhatsApp groups, the Facebook campaigns, the way that your name is dragged through the dirt. I've been threatened. I have been physically assaulted. So after about 2 or 3 meetings, I said to them, do you know what? We need to make a stand against this. So we pulled together a motion and I took it to conference.
So it was almost exactly a year ago when this came to the last annual conference as a motion and was passed, I think, unanimously at the time. And what that meant was the kind of local regional campaign then became a national campaign. And the first thing we did was to run a large-scale national survey. Over 1,500 of our members responded to our request for information, and we got some really very shocking results. So more than 4 in 5 of those who responded said that they had suffered some form of abuse in the last year. And crucially, 86% said that the abuse they were receiving had got worse in the last 3 years. Then when we had those really strong, compelling stats, that allowed us then to go and get that media coverage to make sure that the public, policymakers were being made aware of just how big an issue this was. I think it's pretty safe to say I don't recall a campaign that's received quite the blanket coverage that this one did. It was everywhere. It was from the BBC breakfast sofa right down to the regional newspapers and everything in between. And I am pleased that the government seemed to have noticed the campaign and almost straight afterwards they approached us and said, okay, we need to talk about this. We need to get around the table and we need to start thinking about solutions. So as we're speaking today, really we're waiting for those meetings to start now where we can get around the table and start trying to find practical solutions to deal with this issue.
I would urge you to attend branch meetings, talk about incidents that have happened to you, know that that is a safe space where you will be supported and cared for, and also know that if you need additional support, the NHT is there for you. Our campaign started in a very wet, miserable November evening in our Sunderland branch, and it just goes to show that if there is something that is bothering you, we have the democracy in our union to take our ideas forward and take them to conference, take them to campaigns. So please speak up, come to conference, put in a motion and make the things that bother you the things that everybody is talking about.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you. So we only have a short time until this session concludes. So we won't be debating any motions this afternoon, any conference motions this afternoon. We will just be hearing our General Secretary speak. So without further ado, I invite Paul Whiteman to address conference. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, President. Good afternoon, conference. I recognise now we're at the end of the day. I should have been on a little bit earlier. I'm going to be spying those that walk out halfway through my speech, and we'll make sure we take your names, just to make sure we keep a crowd. Conference, before I get into my speech, I want to say how lovely it is to be back in Yorkshire. This morning I went for a run to clear my head. breathe in the fresh air and reflect on the key message that I want to leave you with today. And it occurred to me during that run that message is I just can't run up hills anymore. It's my birthday next week too. Not a significant one, but another one above ground nonetheless. And whilst my increasing age may have impaired my ability to run the Yorkshire Dales, it's not dented my ambition or determination that your voices will be heard to make sure the children of this country receive the best education they possibly can. My overall message today to people, especially those who seek to criticise unions speaking for their members, is this. Be in no doubt that what NAHT says is a faithful and accurate articulation of the views of its members, of their experience, of their expertise. And be clear that there is no one more ambitious for children, and no one cares more deeply about higher and rising standards, and no one more prepared to do what it takes than the teaching profession itself. To those that seek to minimise that voice, to try to ignore it, or suggest that a government that sought to benefit from your expertise and advice has somehow gone soft on standards, I say this. Don't be so politically immature and tribal that you are prepared to fetter progress on behalf of children. And to government I say, don't be so politically cautious that you respond to the detractors rather than the experts. But more of that later, conference. I want to start by thanking Simon Kidwell for his services as a national officer. Simon, your 3 years as a national officer in your roles as Vice President, President and now immediate past President will sadly come to a close in September. It's when those officers fall off the end of the table. Simon, you're a credit to the profession and to this union. You will continue on our Executive Committee and we're very, very pleased to have you. Thank you for your dedication, hard work and humour throughout some very, very trying times. As Rachel chairs... As Rachel chairs this conference, I want to say just what a delight it's been to work with you throughout your vice presidential year and now halfway through your presidential year, and just how gratifying it is to see you demonstrate that this union is serious about the participation of all of its members. Our first president from an SBL background did not go without causing a ripple or two. 6 months in, and the sun rises and sets on the world as it always did, with the only difference being that the NHT has profited from your perspective as well as your professional skills and experience. You've proved the point that we are the school leaders union. I look forward to continuing to work alongside you for the remaining period of your presidency. And Angie, from September, you will follow in Simon and Rachel's determined footsteps. I've known you for a while now, and I know that the passion with which you spoke earlier came as no surprise to me, or nor would it have been a surprise for your colleagues on the Executive Committee. It says here that I look forward to working with you as President from September. After the introductory speeches, I'm a little bit dubious about that, but we'll see how we go. And Judith Starr, our national treasurer. I'm delighted you've been elected for another term, Judith. You've served this union diligently and with passion, and you've been my constant support and challenge since I took office. Because you control the purse strings, I suspect you are thanked less publicly and frequently than you should be. So I want to put that right, and not least because you do my appraisal and there's one coming up fairly soon. And to all the National Executive Committee, branch officials, delegates here at this conference, this union is all about its members, and your dedication is a testament to that. Thank you very much. But before I end my thanks, I want to talk just a little about our members. And I know I repeat myself at conference, and my wife will tell you I repeat myself at home frequently as well, but it's my truly absolute privilege to serve as your General Secretary. The work you do in your schools is nothing short of miraculous. You're a credit to your pupils, and once again I thank you not only for making this union what it is, but for making this country what it is. And one final, very important thank you. The staff team at NAHT, a small but perfectly formed band of determined and dedicated individuals working on your behalf. I'm proud of you. So I'm thrilled to be here in Harrogate, in the heart of God's own country, as Vic Logan described it earlier on. I'd like to take this early opportunity to thank the Yorkshire branch for welcoming us, and it's always a joy to catch up with members from Yorkshire. They know what they like, and they like what they bloody well know. I can't believe I've actually done that. Dave Gilmore wrote that line for me, and he's in the room somewhere if you want to duff him up later. I'm sorry for the attempt at the accent. I warned Vic I was going to do that. I'm also reliably informed that Harrogate is home to one of the country's finest tea rooms in Betty's. And as tempting it is to pay them a visit, I'm going to stay away for the sake of my waistline. Some of the press already take great pleasure in denouncing the actions of fat cat trade union general secretaries, and I have no desire to provide them with any more ammunition. Getting a little bit more serious, Harrogate also happens to be the birthplace of Laura Veal, the first Yorkshire-born woman to become a doctor who went on to dedicate her life and career to the welfare of women and children. So it feels like a fitting place for us to come together to discuss matters of equity, care and courage, amongst other things. The theme of this year's conference is Rebuilding Education, Shaping Futures, and it's a theme that speaks to our aspirations around renewal, innovation and the future. Of rebuilding something that has been badly damaged. And let's be frank, 14 years of underinvestment, crumbling schools, petty interference, dangerous inspection, recruitment and retention crises, and a whole lot more, it was beginning to look like a deliberate attempt to destroy the profession. Now, when we met last year, the anticipation of political change was real. Even if the country had opted to retain the previous administration, it was clear change was desperately needed, and all parties promised that. As it happens, we have a new government, a new Secretary of State for Education, and a new opportunity to take another look at how we value schools in this country. An opportunity to reimagine, an opportunity to dream, an opportunity to meet the political case, the moral case, and the economic case to take action now. We should, of course, be fair. The challenges this government has inherited are substantial and critical, and it's right and appropriate that they want to demonstrate pragmatism. And as a Crystal Palace fan, I know a thing or two about expectation management, limited resources, and experiencing the occasional miracle. We're off to Wembley, you know. In many ways, it's the perfect training for leading a trade union. But this government mustn't forget to dream about the legacy they want to leave, as much as the desire to balance the books. The vision for education, the ambition for our children, for our country's future, cannot start with your bank balance. If we fail to invest in education, we fail to invest in our future. Our future economic growth and prosperity relies upon nurturing the talent contained within our children. So we must dare to dream. If previous Labour governments hadn't dared to dream, we'd have no NHS, no welfare state, no national insurance, no new towns, no council homes, no Equal Pay Act, no devolution, no Civil Partnership Act, no Good Friday Agreement. This government mustn't forget to dream. And of course, children's dreams are the cornerstone of the teaching profession, and education is the bridge between dreams and reality. So school leaders believe in dreams, we believe in ambition. And now we need a government ready to match the ambition of school leaders, because we know that every major advance in education has been brought about by a Labour government. Whether that was the introduction of free secondary schools under Clement Attlee, the expansion of comprehensive education and the establishment of the Open University under Harold Wilson, the introduction of a national debate about education standards under Jim Callaghan, or the largest post-war school building programme and the creation of Sure Start under Tony Blair. Each was a watershed moment, not defined by the practicalities of the day, but the vision for a legacy they wanted to leave behind. So where do we go from here? It would be disingenuous not to acknowledge that this Labour government inherits a far more fractured and divisive political landscape than the one it left behind. And a nation still reeling from Brexit, still scarred by the consequences of COVID and increasingly consumed by culture wars and post-truth politics sown and spread like weeds from far-flung corners of the globe. Uniting a country under such circumstances is challenging at best and impossible at worst. But in spite of this, perhaps even because of it, our political leaders must resist the temptation to govern in the shadow of their fiercest critics. Because the truth is, if this government wishes to bring lasting change to education, there's never been a better political climate to do it. The last election presented them with a huge mandate, and the electorate expect them to avail themselves of it. That majority is huge political capital. Be brave. Don't fear losing that majority. Make the right choices, and much like a bank rewards the investor with interest, a visionary government will be rewarded by the electorate too. I hope you like that conference. That was a reference to my previous banking career. I just wanted to remind some critics that we do have experience of the real world. We do have experience of the real world, and let me tell you, that real world that I was in was better funded and less high stakes than leading a school. To quote that giant of the Labour Party, Clement Attlee, progress is not possible without change, and change is not possible without courage. And while we're on the subject of courage, in the run-up to next year's elections, we appeal to the political leaders in Wales to stop the detracting vanity reforms like fiddling with the school year and allow schools to focus on teaching and learning. Trust the profession, and that trust will pay dividends. Following the success of our industrial action in Wales between February and November last year, we were concerned that our surge in membership might tail off. But not only have we retained those members we recruited during that period, we're still growing. Thanks to grassroots organising, targeted local campaigns, and our role as the go-to voice for school leadership, NAHT Cymru is thriving. We're leading the charge on additional learning needs reform, holding the Welsh Government to account and campaigning successfully for improved terms and conditions for ALN coordinators. But Wales, like all nations, is plagued by chronic underfunding. And while the Barnett formula continues to shortchange Wales and Northern Ireland, education often loses out even further in the fight for finite resources. 22 local authorities funding schools in 22 different ways, a postcode lottery that NAHT Cymru is fighting to end. And looking ahead to the Senedd elections in 2026, we issue a simple message. Try letting schools focus on teaching and learning. The next government needs to give schools the space to deliver. So, colleagues, the case for investment, reform and support for education is clear. But what about the moral case? What promise can we make to the children of today that we truly are equipping them for tomorrow? We owe them an education and we owe them a future. Our pupils live and learn in a world unrecognisable from the one we grew up in, and we're now living in an era where the potential for technological change and progress is almost limitless, bringing with it untold opportunities. But alongside those opportunities comes a rapidly shifting vocational landscape, where jobs and skills can shift overnight, and where artificial intelligence is already reshaping our working lives. If we want to prepare children for that future, we have to look further ahead and give them what they need now. Technology can connect us, as we saw during the pandemic, but it can also isolate and divide and create lonely, dangerous spaces for children trying to find their identity and their place in the world. The critically acclaimed Netflix drama Adolescence may have been a wake-up call for some, but its portrayal of toxic masculinity and online radicalisation came as no surprise to our members, many of whom have to deal with the consequences of these issues every day. Tackling those dangers takes real leadership, from politicians, from families, from teachers, and from school leaders too. Because if we're serious about stopping a generation disappearing into a vortex of hatred and lies, then we must work together to show them decency, selflessness, kindness and honesty. Show them that can offer fulfilment and reassurance, the fulfilment and reassurance that they're searching for. And away from the challenges of technology, we still have nearly 25% of state pupils in this country receiving free school meals. We have more children in poverty than ever before. That national shame is the inheritance for this government. I recognise the early steps government is making to tackle this, including breakfast clubs, but more will be needed. Long-term support for those in need will be needed if we really want to remove the barriers to progress for those children in the toughest circumstances. Of course, the moral case for education must extend to how we judge and value schools in the round. And we can't talk about that without talking about Ofsted. I bet you thought I wasn't going to get around to it. It's now been 18 months since an independent review found Ofsted had contributed to the death of our fellow head teacher, Ruth Perry. As ever, we take this moment to think of her family, her friends, her colleagues and her pupils, each of whom still feel her loss deeply. As I said at our 2023 conference, one of the saddest things about learning that a head teacher had taken her own life under the pressure of an Ofsted inspection was how unsurprising it felt to so many in the profession. Our own advice line has taken numerous calls over the years from distressed members, some feeling suicidal because of this ineffective and needlessly punitive system. And following Ruth's death, we were promised change. What we've been offered, if you scratch beneath the surface, is more of the same. Another crude grading system to hang over the heads of leaders. And of course, our critics will say that school leaders object to inspections because they don't care about standards. School leaders, the people who dedicate their lives to helping young people exceed expectations in the best learning environments possible. The ones who spend every day reviewing practice, striving for improvement. Championing best practice, and who nurture and support their teaching staff to keep developing their craft. If you want to tell me that those school leaders don't care about standards, then I dare you. I dare you to come and say it to the incoming President, Angie Gibson. Did you hear that speech? That passion, the determination on behalf of young people. And what is so encouraging about that speech is that Angie is the embodiment of you all. Conference school leaders aren't afraid of accountability. In fact, you embrace it. That's why you chose a life in public service. And the idea that Ofsted's model is the only way to assess schools is utter nonsense. Our colleagues in Wales and Northern Ireland will be the first to admit their systems aren't perfect, but the fact they offer something broader and more nuanced than a crude traffic light system proves there's more than one way. Colleagues, a way that doesn't pile on additional pressure onto an already stretched profession. A way that gives parents meaningful insight to where a school is on its improvement journey. And a way that doesn't leave school leaders worried that they'll be blamed for falling house prices in their neighbourhood just because an inspector didn't like a particular process or took issue with how they filed their paperwork. So my message to His Majesty's Chief Inspector is simply this. Scrap these proposals, disabuse yourself of the notion there's no alternative, and think again. And of course, colleagues, if we're serious about raising standards and improving outcomes and creating opportunity, we can't ignore the most complex challenge facing the system today, and that's the recruitment and retention crisis. Because whilst the education chatterati obsesses over how to measure school performance, school leaders are just trying to keep the system running. One safeguarding call, one absence cover, one broken boiler at a time. Let's be clear, this is not about passion fatigue. It's not because leaders don't care anymore. It's because the workload is intolerable, the stakes too high, and support simply too low. And when a system relies so heavily on goodwill, it will only take a few broken trusts before the whole thing starts to buckle. But it doesn't have to be this way. Take Northern Ireland. Our colleagues in NAHT and I have shown what can be achieved when governments listen. Their decision to pause industrial action came on the back of a serious offer of pay and workload, including an independent review and a roadmap to lasting change. It's not perfect, but it's progress, and it shows what's possible even in the middle of a political storm. School leaders in England, Wales and Northern Ireland all want the same thing. to do their jobs well and go home with something left in the tank. If a school leader works 55 hours a week and still feels like they're failing, then it's not them that's broken, it's the system. This crisis won't be flawed with consultations or big listens through muffled ears. It needs real solutions, an accountability system that is robust and meaningful, but proportionate and fair, not dangerous and destructive. An acknowledgement that current pay levels for teachers and school leaders just aren't good enough to attract people into the profession and then keep them there. An investment in early career support and better pathways into headship, and a school funding strategy that is genuine ambition for the future. Because we don't just need more teachers, we need more leaders too, and we need to stop burning them out as fast as we train them up. Conference, we've considered the political and moral cases for education, but of course, there's an economic one too. Indeed, education, as Gordon Brown once argued, is the best economic policy there is. After 14 years of hearing about how unaffordable investing in schools is, we're now seeing the unaffordable cost of not investing in them. Crumbling buildings, scarce resources, a SEND system in crisis, and an entire profession paid less in real terms than it was 15 years ago. If education is the single most powerful driver of a prosperous society, then it must be the first in line when investment is made. The truth is, Conference, invested in schools doesn't just make economic sense. It's an act of belief in children, in communities, in our future. Now, I've spoken a lot about what Labour governments have done and need to do, and I can anticipate the headlines being written by some of our journalist colleagues, even the ones I respect and admire, which is all of you, of course. Be kind to me, I am only human. Invoking the ambition and successes with education as achieved by previous Labour governments will no doubt either lead us to being painted as blindly supportive or as being disappointed in this administration. So let me be clear, I am neither of those things. We are politically independent for a reason. We can and we will criticise any and all governments when we think they're wrong. But we will also encourage any and all governments that seek to work alongside the profession, the experts that deliver for children day in and day out. This government has pledged to do that, and let's be honest, they've had less than a year to undo 14 years of damage. It's true that this Secretary of State has delivered more vision and ambition for education in 10 months than I observed in the 10 predecessors in my first 8 years as General Secretary. To be fair, hardly any of them had time to warm the seat, let alone be ambitious. And I do recognise the progress on breakfast clubs, however difficult we think they might be. The expansion of school-based nurseries and the increase in early years pupil premium, which will lead to more children being ready to learn as they start school. The recognition of the importance and value of primary education. Sensible changes on uniform policies. Initial steps to improve capital funding. The pledge to deal with both the SEND crisis and the recruitment and retention crisis. And the commitments made to improving childcare and early education. I'm delighted that this government has seen that the early years of a child's life are crucial to later success. But that start needs to be built upon and properly supported. Let's be clear, and of course, all of the above will need proper funding and practical support in schools. And that's the point we've been making to government. So please invest in schools. If not because a 10% rise in funding returns £6 for every £1 by 2080. If not because Sure Start cut hospital admissions by 19% in the poorest areas. If not because better educational outcomes drive productivity, power growth, and build strong economies. Then do it because it's a mark of a country that believes in itself. Because it's what good countries do and how great governments create their legacy. So I want to encourage this government. We know that we will be criticised by the detractors of partnership and collaboration. And we know everything is reduced to the language of victory and defeat rather than cooperation and joint success on behalf of children. They will first say to this government, you are in hock to the unions and you must show independence. NAHT is not affiliated to Labour, and this government owes us nothing at all. But we do speak on behalf of 38,000 school leaders experts of delivering day in and day out. Those people joined us so we could speak on their behalf, and you owe them the success of the education system, and they deserve to be heard. And the detractors will seek to diminish what we say. They fear the legitimate strength of organised workers. They will say that we are not representative of our membership. What utter, desperate nonsense. We have grown by over 30% because we faithfully articulate the voice of the profession. Our branches are stronger and more active because we faithfully articulate the voice of the profession. Our regions and nations are more confident because we faithfully articulate the voice of the profession. This conference has grown bigger each year because we faithfully articulate the voice of the profession. Ordinary members, day in and day out, telling it like it is and campaigning for how it should be. Your voice, from the branch to the General Secretary, a democratic union. I try never to say in interviews, my members. You don't belong to me, but I am your General Secretary and proud to amplify your voice. So now let's get to work and tell it like it is and tell the world and campaign for how it should be. Thank you, conference.
Colleagues, before we do move on, I just want to take a moment to thank our General Secretary, Paul Whiteman. Paul, your leadership continues to reflect the best of what this union stands for: integrity, clarity, and an unwavering belief in the power and professionalism of school leaders. At a time when education is under immense pressure, from flawed inspection systems to the recruitment and retention crisis, you've kept our focus where it belongs: on children, on equity, and on the moral purpose of our work. You've ensured our voices are heard, respected, and acted on, and for that we are deeply grateful. I very much look forward to working closely with you from September as we continue to build on the work you've led and push for the future of our profession and our pupils, because that's what they absolutely deserve. Thank you.
Thank you, colleagues. A few notices before we finish the day, as quickly as I can, because we're slightly over time. So that concludes the final session. We will return for a start time of 8:30 tomorrow morning. I know that's early. We've got a lot to get through, even more than we originally thought. 8:30 prompt. There will be the opportunity for the brave souls that want to come even earlier than that to view the exhibition before that time. And we'll start with motions 1 to 4, which we should have taken this afternoon. We will take those in the first session, and as many of 5 to 10 as we can possibly. So if I could reiterate what Magnus said earlier about keeping to time. Also, if you haven't done so already, you might want to consider indicating via the form that you can fill in that you wish to speak at the 2-minute mic. You might want to do that tonight. Colleagues, I think that at some point there'll be a QR code coming up on the screen for that. So this evening, in about 10 minutes' time, we've got 2 fringes that delegates might wish to attend. For members of our equalities networks, there's an opportunity to catch up on NAHT's EDI work and network with fellow delegates. And if you're interested in learning more about NAHT's international work, including the Just Transition work following, I've got into the script, it says following today's motions, but we've not heard them yet. Preempting tomorrow's motions. The International Network are hosting a drinks reception and briefing covering climate change, the rise of the far right, and education in conflict zones. So for the EDI event, please go to room 2 in the Queen's foyer. For the international event, please go to room 5B in the Queen's foyer. There's also an invite-only roundtable with Susan Ackland Hood, Permanent Secretary to the DFE. Delegates will know if they've been selected for that already. You will have been contacted already about that. So that session will take place in room 5A in the Queen's Foyer. So on the tables, yeah, so there's details there. On the screen earlier, there was details of the regional dinners. It might come up again in a second. And where you all are tonight and the various times that you need to be there. I know it's a quick turnaround, but we like to pack as much in as we can at these conferences. And Angie and I are looking forward to coming round and saying a quick hello to you all while you're enjoying your dinners. So please take a moment to look at that slide, have a chat with your delegate support officer if you need to. And so that is today concluded. Thank you, colleagues.